Hello everyone, I'm Mike, the Glampsite Builder. Today I'm going to be showcasing one of our units. I'm going to show you one of our basic units. It's a 13-foot in diameter bell tent. I'm going to feature some of the other units on another segment, but on this one I wanted to showcase what you can do to a regular tent. Again, at Whispering Woods, what we're trying to do is create every single unit is going to be custom and unique. So we're looking forward to creating new experiences at every spot. We want people to come here and maybe show up and stay at a tent one time, and then they look around and go, wow, I want to stay at the trailer and some of the other units that we have. So again, we're looking for creative, one-of-a-kind spaces, because I feel that in the future we're all going to be competing, and you know how it is sometimes. May the best man win, as far as maybe people that set up just a standard tent that made money in the past are going, geez, I'm not making money now. Or it might be just because there's a lot more people jumping into the game and upping their units, making their place look nicer, making it look custom, not just, thrown together, not not like a cookie cutter with a bunch of yurts just lined up in a row, nothing around them, no trees, let's just set up chairs around it. So that's what we're trying to do here at Whispering Woods, is create individual units with different ways to do it, and that's what we're going to be showing you. So today we have just a basic 13-foot bell tent behind me that we set up, and that's what I'm going to be talking to you guys right now. So I want to show you the trail that we carved. It's at a level going down this road, and might be hard to tell, but from this road it slopes down. So if I show you maybe at a different angle, you can see that the road slopes down, but from the road it slopes at a decent pitch. So I wanted to make the entrance to the tent and the deck right at the road level, easy to walk onto, but I was going to utilize the slope to build a deck, because when you get out at the end of that deck, you're raised up in the air, and it makes it a lot more appealing view when you're sitting on your deck and you're looking out on an elevated view into the trees. So this was strategically placed because, we've got a big tree right here, and let's set it right next to the trees. And then to show you what we did at the entrance, these are 2 trunks that we cut out of a dead tree that was here. And sometimes these trees, they hollow out on the inside. And what we did with these 2 is we put a plywood bottom on the top and filled them with dirt and turned a couple pieces of wood into cool rustic planters, which matches the theme. This is the rustic tree house, or I'm sorry, the rustic tent is what we're calling this one. So as you see, we don't just have a flat deck and put a tent on it. We created a bigger deck, and we made a side entrance because we didn't want the opening to this tent pointing out to the road. So we wanted to create an entrance where you walk around, and maybe I can walk on here and show you guys what I'm talking about. Is this deck, we put the hand railing around it all and built a deck up here that wanted to show you what, we're up at an elevation now. And even though I'm guessing the bottom of this deck is only probably about 6 feet off the ground, it still gives you an elevated view. You still, can be up here with an elevated view, looking out into the forest. And so we wanted to create a living space around the tent. And I know I've seen a lot of 13-foot bell tents sit down with 2 chairs on each side of the door, and let's put a fire pit off to the side. Again, I'm looking at competition. I'm looking at everybody's going to be making theirs nicer and nicer, so I'm trying to get ahead of the game. So what we did here is we created the deck to give it a elevated view, and then we made sure the entrance to the tent was facing out to the great view that we have looking down this little creek that runs down behind us. And as you can see, for your viewing pleasure, we put a little carved bear there sitting on top of a trunk, a little chair and a bench seat with a hammock to look inviting, to say, hey, come on over here and sit down here. So what we did here is created an area out in front of the deck that has a cedar table and 4 chairs that we purchased on Facebook Marketplace, and I think I paid $200 for the table and all the chairs. And luckily for us, we're going with the rustic look, so you know, we can buy older used stuff off of Facebook Marketplace. We're not going for the sleek, you know, the sleek look with everything modern and contemporary looking cabins and buildings. So everything out here, we want it to be kind of natural feeling. So you'll see, you know, the tones of the wood, everything's, you know, you notice I try to stay away from, you know, bright red and yellow chairs and things of that nature, so that everything kind of blends in. So this little area here has the table for dining. It's got, you know, plenty of room to walk out, and we need to get a couple of bar stools for that table. But what we did here is we created a privacy wall. It's just a simple 2x4 wall, and put that matting on top of it to give you privacy from somebody that's the tents that are back behind there. So we put up a little privacy wall. We put another little $100, $75 piece of furniture we found online to put out here. This is we're going to be setting up like an outdoor cooking station, and you can do some stuff inside the tent. So we're creating a little breakfast nook out here in case they want to bring coffee and some things outside. They have a dining table here to hang out. They got a bar top there. Then I'm going to have a couple bar stools that you can just either sit or stand at the bar and have your coffee or a beer or whatever. Back in this corner, we put a little chimenea fire pit that, you know, we can't use the regular fire pits sitting on a deck. So we went with this, and it's a pretty cool little fire pit. It contains the fire really well. And then if you see, we got 2 Adirondack chairs sitting right next to the fire. And then we got a whole stand that we built out of the cedar branches and things here in the forest, and made what I thought was a pretty cool wood holder next to the fire pit. Above me, I've got a sunshade. You can see through it right here. I was thinking between, well, do I make a tarp for rain proofing or sunshade? I decided to go with sunshade, because one thing I can tell you, if this was a tarp and it's a flat area and water hits it and it starts holding water, you never know if this could end up being a swimming pool up here and a big pond accumulating mosquitoes right on top of your cover here. So that's why, you know, water will drain through this, but it'll give you some shade. So we decided to go with the sunshade here. Another thing that's kind of cool is this little branch that you see that's bent. I saw this in the forest and I thought, geez, what can I do with that? And it's just a little tree that I cut off the little branches, installed a little lantern at the top. As you can see, that's a little solar lantern. So what's cool about that, we don't touch it, but just that little light will glow at night off of this bent rod I had here. And again, it's just being creative. I saw it sitting in the forest, and what can I do with that? The same thing happened with me over here. I didn't want this entrance just to be walk onto a deck. And I thought, well, what can I add to the entrance to make it cool? So it's just a simple structure, all made out of cedar branches that are here in the forest, and saves me a lot of money. And I think I get to build stuff that's cooler than getting 4x4 posts at Home Depot. So this is where I want you guys to think about getting creative. What can you add? What little touch can you put next to that standard little tent? Because it will make a difference. So this little structure is right here at the entrance, and put the little deer horns on the top of there for a little cool touch. Really like it. So again, this is a 13-foot in diameter bell tent just on a regular deck. Added some natural looking planters. Oh, and something else we got going around the forest here. We got cool little characters throughout our forest. I think we got like 25 of them now, and we're about to open soon, but what we're gonna create is a little scavenger hunt. We're gonna have a piece of paper with all 25 animals pictured in the left-hand column, and then have people go around and see if they can find them, take pictures of them, come back to camp, see who's got the most. I just came up with the picture thing with cameras because now everyone's got a camera, and that was one way to score the game, but I'll leave that up to you. But there's a bunch of cool little guys in the forest here. Let me show you another one that's not as easy to see. But again, just looking for things to add character to the park. So there's the face. So on Amazon, you can buy these little eyes, nose, and beards and place them on trees. And we have gotten some compliments on people just walking through the forest, and all of a sudden they see a squirrel, or I've got a squirrel with a mountain climbing helmet on out in the back. So these little creatures can add some character, but again, give people something to do as far as a scavenger hunt around the area. So I kind of described this area here. What we've got in here is, see if you can, but we have a queen size bed. That's a headboard that we built, and I know it's a weird one, but we built it at an angle so that it could conform to the tent. And then, you know, we've got some storage area back here. But so this is a simple bell tent, but we've got a couple of cozy chairs that are low profile that you can sit inside the tent here, with a little shelf area with some cups and plants. Now my wife hasn't finished decorating this because, like, up there at the top, she's going to have all these little branches coming out. And then here's the refrigerator that we got, and a little microwave. So we just created an area here that's just good enough to get out of the weather, get a good night's sleep. But what's nice is having this whole extra space, you know, to come out to and to hang out at. So I'm going to say that concludes the tour of our 13-foot in diameter bell tent with a deck added to it. And again, look for things that you can maybe utilize in your forest. If you've got some trees and branches that are able to get removed in your way, and utilize them. So I know not everybody's got this situation, but I just wanted to point out that you can save some money by using some of the branches and trees and things in the forest here. And you can see that, like behind me, you know, we went and got some 4x6 posts and some 1x6 pre-stained cedar to build a privacy fence to blend in. But most of the stuff, you know, we're grabbing one of a kind little pieces and just, you know, just trying to add some character to to the forest here. So I'm going to say I think that's it for the bell tent. But again, when you look at an area, consider, instead of putting the deck just sitting on the ground, if you've got a sloped area, look at those areas that you can utilize and build a deck and have an elevated view from the top of the deck like this one does. Another thing to think about, I was going to do it on this one, but I'm already paying for all the lumber for the decking and all the framing for the framework of this deck. And I'm going to pay labor to build a deck. And I thought, geez, how much more money is it going to cost me if I took this deck and raised it up another 8 feet? Why I was thinking about that is I could have a little staircase going up to the deck and goes up to the same setting that I have right here and just raise it up in the air. And think about this for a second. You can buy materials that'll get that deck up in the air, like instead of, you know, buying smaller posts for your deck down at ground level, you buy them 8 feet to 10 feet longer and raise that same deck, the same square footage, up in the air. Now you got to do some cross bracing and railings to make it safe. But think about that. If you've got a deck and you're putting a tent on it and you just pay for taller posts, you build that same deck up in the air, now you can put that tent up in the air. And what that does is not only give you the better view and the better vibe from sitting up on the tent looking down, but you just created a whole area underneath the deck. So if it's up at that level that you can walk underneath it, think about it. You could take just a regular tent, put it on a deck, raise it up, and then underneath you can put some little bench swings, or you can put, you know, other seating area, different things that would look cool hanging from the rafters of the deck that you got raised up. So keep that in mind. I was going to do that because I think from a cost standpoint, it's a smart move. You know, like I said, if you build that deck on the ground, can you raise it up in the air for not much more money and a whole different vibe and feel? So that's my tip for the day on what you can do to a 13-foot bell tent. And look forward to showing you guys some of our other bigger and better tents and our Airstream trailers and things of that nature. So I'm going to keep talking about the construction of putting together a Glampsite, and hope to show you guys a whole bunch of different things that you're going to learn from and hopefully save you some headaches. And again, I'm going to say the name of the game: make it cool, make it unique. People are looking for experiences. They want different experiences. They don't want to go all around the country and stay in the same yurt or something. So keep that in mind, and look forward to talking to you guys soon and bringing you some more cool stuff here at Whispering Woods. Again, I'm Mike, the Glampsite Builder. I've been a general contractor for over 40 years, and I do some consulting work too. So let me know if you need anything. Talk to you later. Bye.